Hello everyone, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. I know this channel has been doing very good and thank you so much to all of you. I started this channel because I wanted to reach out to each one of you to actually talk about spirituality because I'm a spiritual person and I end up meeting so many new people where I learn and where we make a community and talk and discuss about everyday issues and how we can understand all those issues and resolve them through spiritual mediums. Today I have come up with a topic that is how much to give in a relationship or else you end up being alone in a relationship. I'm in Mumbai, and in the metro cities, the time constraints between two people and so many things between a relationship exist. Let's talk about that. I got to know that the cases I solve, I meet people. The major issue between a couple, it could be male or a female or any gender in a couple, one person is a giver and other person is a taker. Let's understand it this way. Our parents, we end up actually having one favorite. Why? Because that parent is a giver to us. So I don't mean to say that the person who's a giver or person who's a taker is defined like that. But we happen to choose that space within a relationship in the early stages of relationship. And then that becomes the basic issue after a while in that relationship. Now you must be thinking about your relationship, that am I a giver or my person is a taker? It's very less we find that both are giver and taker according to the needs of the relationship, and those relationships are the ones which are just forever. But I want to talk about the ones who are givers and then they end up draining themselves and they feel suffocated in relationships. So I need to talk about this entire algorithm of how a relationship can be healthy, can be good, and how we can just normally do it. So for example, if you are a giver in a relationship, first let's talk about who's a giver. The one who is willingly or unwillingly being unconditional. They try and understand the other person. It could be this person is empath, it could be male, female, any gender specific. And you end up being a giver in this relationship because your programming of this relationship is made by you two people but decided in a very early stages, and then it's like a fixed thing that, for example, you were not like this but now suddenly you are changing, is not acceptable in relationships. But what I say is change. So this is mainly for all the ones who are worried about their relationship, that being in so much love, the other person is not able to give you how much you are giving in the relationship. How you can still balance it. Yes, fights do happen. Yes, discussions do happen. But are you seriously really willing to change this person? Yes, you are. Because the fights and the discussions are all about that what I did in this relationship, why can't you do? If I expect, why can't you give it back to me? But guys, we have to stop looking at the other person because somehow, unknowingly, unintentionally, we have made them like this. Or the givers have made them like this. And then the last blame is to the taker. So why can't you switch the roles? Without fights, without discussions. Just sit in a corner in a peaceful place and think about your relationship from the starting. We talk about past, we fight. But we fight on the events of past, having grudges inside. But have you ever realized how this relationship started? And what role you were playing when it started? And you will be surprised that most of the relationships are broken later because the roles do not switch. The giver remains the giver, the taker remains the taker, and it brings that rift between the two because the giver get exhausted in between the relationship, and the taker now is not at all programmed to give. But how do we do that? So today I'm going to tell you some interesting tips which can change the equation in a relationship, and a giver can actually receive and get contented, and a taker can actually will to give without fights, without breakups, and then you suddenly realize that I was wrong. We do not need to do that. The simple things which I'm going to tell you, just apply in your relationships and see the results. So tip number 1, if you're giving 80%, if you're giving 80% in this relationship, cut down to 60. Not telling you to just stop giving it. That is what exactly we do. We fight and we just want to break up. We just want to split. But that's not the end of the story. The other relationships you're going to bring in is going to be same pattern. So change this pattern within this relationship so that you do not attract anything apart from this relationship. If at all you go in another relationship, you're going to attract the same problems. So why don't you fix this relationship and never attract those problems? Because the way we align a relationship is exactly the way we align ourselves. If we are used to having 2 cups of teas every day and you suddenly want to change it, the body becomes your enemy and craves for it, and then make you feel drained or your headaches or something. It just alarms that I need it. So in this way, the body becomes a taker. But your mind, just for change or just for some diet or something, is being mean to your body. Same way as your relationship works. So if you're a giver, from 80 to cut, you have to cut down to 60. And then in return, stop for a while any expectation from your partner. Because the gap between 80 to 60 of 20% automatically will be filled by your partner. Because for them, instantly giving you 80 becomes an issue, but that 20 becomes easy. So for example, you want your partner to pay the bills together or sit down and talk about the entire home programming, but they leave it on you because you've been doing it and it frustrates you that why only me. So what you can do, that hey, I have paid e-bill, electricity bill, just one bill is left, please can you do that? So the other person doesn't feel that pressure and they somehow accept it, that okay, I'll do it. Instead of telling that it's been months I'm doing it, can you do that for me now, I'm done. It's tough for the other person to understand and adjust to that vibration, that want. And it's a very, very basic thing, but we tend to bring it out at the last, when we are done, just like our body. So people find that they are diabetic in the last stage, where they have actually tossed their body completely. And then the body gives the alarms that I'm done, I'm showing you what you have built inside you, inside the body. That's the diabetic thing, or any other disease. It takes time to the entire process of building a disease, creating a disease and bring it in, eating it out, that this is it. The body is really fighting so hard to kill it much before then it is declared. But when it is just done, you are keeping, you are just giving it too much of negative. Then it shows you that I kind of give up. That's exactly our relationships too. So now what you're supposed to do is from 80 to 60. That's the work pressure of the house. So girls or guys who are burdened with because your internal mind, maybe you're not showing this to your partner that I'm doing everything, I do everything. Try and do a bit less and shift it slightly, softly, politely to other person. Give them these small habits. Like, we have house help, most of us, but in the COVID times it was really tough, and this was the time where a lot of splits, divorces, and uh, people actually got irritated with each other because of this house thing, because the woman or the man who's actually doing everything was just left alone, and they thought that nobody's actually being with us. But try this for a longer time, the relationships will be settled. Divide the duties. It could be the first step of the relationship, but after 6 months or a year, it becomes tough. That now, why suddenly, why? Then analyze it yourself. The second step, analyze it yourself, that what is bothering me in this relationship. Many clients of mine have this problem, that my partner doesn't give me time when I want it, and they come to me when they want it. Guys, now go to the first time of your relationship, like the first initial stage. Whenever they asked for it, you were just there. That time you were not analyzing anything, because you wanted this way, you were okay with this way. But now, because now you're understanding the person, it's like, why me? So now it's something you can't change, what is past. But what you can do now is, 3 times they come to you when they want you. Out of that 3, meet them 2 times. 1 time, do not. Give them a small dose of how it feels. I'm not envying anyone. I'm just trying to explain how things can be better, instead of just having a big fight on these things. You are not in a relationship. You are in a relationship of the mind of another person. Trust me. If the mind is good, everything is good between the two. So when you know this person is going to ask you things when they want it, what you are doing normally and naturally is, you will just ask and expect them to give, which is not their nature, which was from initial stage your nature. You can't just change it in 1 or 2 days. Instead, change yourself. Whenever they come to you, 3 times, 2 times, meet them. Give them what they want. 1 time, no. It'll be difficult because you are a giver. But trust me, a giver always wants a giver, end up meeting a taker. Why that happens is a very different topic. I'm going to make a video about that. Why do we attract what we actually don't want? But right now I'm talking about people who are in relationships and want to sort them out without just exhausting. The third tip which I'm going to give you is, try to understand their brain before their heart. That's a very tricky one, because when you understand somebody's heart, you fall in love. But if you understand somebody's mind, then your body, mind and soul supports you or programs you that how you should behave with this person, because you do anyways, you like this person. But the problem is, the rule book of this relationship is not written in initial stages, and suddenly you want to write it out. So the third step is, understand the mind of a person, not the heart first. It'll help you in a long run, because everybody is made of good or bad according to, it's quite kind of subjective. So what you can do, when you know the mind of a person, you also have a mind. Use that. If you want your guy or a girl to praise you, that's your initial need, that's your internal need of your relationship, that I want somebody who should praise me. Then give them a habit from initial times to praise you. Tell them that when you praise me, I like it, instead of just quietly expecting it. Because once you will tell them, that will be feeded. After 6-8 months, if you suddenly say that this person doesn't even appreciate me or praise me, what's the point of that? They never did it before anyways. Now people will say, no, initial days he used to do, or she used to do, but now I don't think so. They are interested enough in me, or maybe they don't find me that interesting. It's not about that. It's about the comfort zone. So point number 4, never give your relationship the comfort zone. Because we use this word granted, actually the word is comfort zone. The two of you are comfortable like that. But being a giver, the discomfort starts after a while. When you are exhausted that how much to give, where is the time when I'm going to take? So like, let's say 6 months later in a relationship, you get exhausted. Now what to do? Change your role. Instead of changing the other person, change your role. Behave in a different way, so that without fights, you people can end up changing the roles automatically. There's so many tips I can give you, but the most important message I want to give you is that changing other person cannot change the patterns of your life, but changing you can change the patterns of your life and relationships. So being a giver or being a taker is a fixed thing. That's a myth. You can always change. Instead of being an emotional person, you can be emotionally balanced person. You have to analyze a relationship just like your body. That where I'm supposed to give and where I'm supposed to not give. Where I'm supposed to take. And talk it out to your partner. From day 1 to day 10, practice this with them. Whatever is hurting you, that this person doesn't give me this, just go back to your relationship and see that when did they stop giving you this and why did they stop giving you this. Either you were too comfortable with that they got comfortable and they stopped it, or maybe they wanted to give you too much but you kind of repelled it and now you're missing it. Anything which comes out is going to be the answer. Because most of us want something without telling the partner. It's an expectation. An expectation is something which is going to either make you or break you. Make your relationship or break your relationship. But my point is, it is a never-ending process. It's never going to end. One is done, the second is starts. One day you're happy with him or her, the second day is the problem again. So fix it forever. That whatever I want, first I'm going to change myself. Where am I doing the mistake? Am I giving too much? Am I expecting too much? Have I set the rules of this relationship like this? Have I made my partner so comfortable being me like this? You will know what you need to change, but take it slow. Just don't rush, because it's a habit. Just like two people living under one roof could not be love, could be habit, just a habit. But they feel that they cannot live without each other because it's a habit. So any habit you can break. I hope this video gives the sense to all the givers or takers how to live in a balanced relationship and keep on switching the roles to make it interesting, to make it healthy, and definitely make it work. Thank you so much for watching my video, and thank you so much for loving my channel. I'll come up with another topic, and if you have something in mind which you would want me to discuss, please comment below. And then soon I will be making a video on what is the real belief under that question, which we need to change. Because change is must in relationships, in life. Anything which is just going as it is or maybe stable actually becomes a very, very weak area of your life, because you, me, and everyone needs a constant change. Then why not relationships? Why not the same relationships can change the equations, so that a taker can actually become a giver and a giver can become a taker, and it's again a balance. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.